Mic check, mic check. Mic check, mic check, mic check. Mic check, mic check, mic check, mic check, mic check, mic check. I guess the volume sound good. I'm gonna go ahead and start sharing the video before I get started. Bear with me for a few minutes. Get these people in here. Peace, Ashwan. I'm gonna get started in a few minutes. Y'all just bear with me, please. I'm trying to. I'm trying to share a dang video. Share with a few more people. All right. All right. I'm trying to do that. Ashwan, if you still on here saying, could you tell, is my volume good? Okay, appreciate it, Sam. Peace, Zach. Peace, Annette, Lisa. Peace, Kendrick. Peace, Kimberly Cooper. I don't know if they still on here or not. Give me about 4 more minutes and I'm gonna get started. Peace, San Jehuti Ma'at. Peace, Deidre. Peace, Alita, Sene Alita. I'm gonna get started in a few minutes. About 3 or 4 more minutes. Let's try and let a couple more people get in before I get started. Let me ask a question too before I get started too. When when you become aware, what we call conscious only means aware, right? So when you become aware, why do some people think that you are crazy when you become aware? You become aware of your surroundings or you become conscious. I don't understand that. When you start to understand, um, I mean when you start to retain information and recover uh, history that has not been taught to us and start disposing the lies and the mistruths. Um, and you start sharing this type of information, people start to think you crazy. I just don't, I just don't get that. When you come aware of what's going on around you, people start to say you crazy. I don't understand that. Why is that? I just don't understand. But I'm gonna go ahead and get started. What time is it? This PowerPoint is it's gonna be a little lengthy today. It's probably gonna be about an hour and a half. PowerPoint, I got about what time? I got about 34 or 36 slides. I'm not sure how many slides I got, but it's gonna be probably about an hour and a half. I'm just giving an hour and a half. Give me one more minute and I'm gonna get started. Now I done shared it to my own twice. What time is it? Well, all right, I'm finna go ahead and get started. 'Cause it's 4:10. I need to go and get started so I can get off of here. But okay, the name of this PowerPoint presentation is called the Akan in West Africa Ghana presentation. My name is Kofi Pasa, so I'm just gonna walk y'all through before I get started, so you can understand where I get my name from, what culture and stuff I get my name from. But again, before I get started, I think it's because all of a sudden you're going against the norm, which equals not normally. Something must be wrong with you. You must be doing through the phase. I heard it all. Some more rigid, some more right. Actually, yeah. And greater current culture has a big impact. Where we're in West Indies. Okay, yeah, yeah. And I'm just gonna break down. I'm just gonna go through the account. Well, first I was gonna do my part three of the introduction of the uterable system, but I didn't get finished with it. I had a long way to go from getting finished with it. I've been up under the weather, so that's one reason why I didn't do it. This Akan presentation, I was damn near almost through with it, so I didn't have to do nothing but add a few more slides and add 2 videos to it. So I just decided to go ahead and do this one too, because people are always asking me, what do my name mean? Where did the name come from? So I had started the presentation. I just went on ahead and finished it. So that was one reason why I'm not doing the introduction part two, because if those that looked at me on Dr. Oyama Op platform on Wednesday when I did the origins of Thanksgiving, or the origins of thanks horror givings, you can tell I was, I wasn't feeling too well. I sniffed in the whole video. I went back and looked at the video, so I sniffed a lot and stopped up. So I just was feeling bad that day, but I went on ahead and did the presentation on Wednesday, and I just didn't have a time to get finished with the part 3 of the introduction of Yoruba and Ifa. So I just, like I said, I just went on ahead and finished with this presentation since I was almost through with it. And I think a lot of you will enjoy the presentation. And then, like I said, you will see where I get my name from, how the name originated, what the name means, and who the people and the culture is. Okay. Again, the name, before I get started, I always have to say Egungun Majube Ibai, Egungun Kiki Egungun, and that only means, and Alifie Ibe, which means peace to the family. I pay homage to the ancestors. I praise the ancestors. And I always have to say this because we wouldn't be who we are without our ancestors. We wouldn't even be here if it wasn't for our ancestors. And we are our ancestors. So I always have to pay homage to the ancestors. And again, the name of the presentation is called the Akan in West Africa Ghana presentation by me, Kofi Paisai. I always have to put a disclaimer out here before I get started. Disclaimer: I am not a teacher, but merely a student sharing information. And that information provided is for educational purpose only. And if you are in doubt, do the research or have it verified by someone qualified. I reserve the rights to change the focus of this presentation, to shut down, sell, or change the terms of the use at my own discretion. All trademarks, design rights, copyrights, registered names, mottos, logos, avatars, sigmas, and marks used or cited by this website or the property of their respective owners. I reserve the right to add information as it comes available and or adapt changes, improve information as it comes available in the future. Input wanted, changes, addition, deletions encouraged. Okay. Is the volume still good, family? I just want to make sure the volume and stuff still good before I keep going, because I know in my last video it kind of got a little bit choppy and due to the loading, but everything's still good before I go on. Thumbs up if the volume's still good, or TU, or yes. Nin means no. Well, okay, I guess the volume's still good. Somebody please just give me a thumbs up to make sure the video is not choppy. I don't want this video to be choppy like the last video was. I want you to hear me loud and clear, because on my other device it looks like it's loading. Okay. All right. My name is Kofi Paisai. It is an Akan name in Twi. 6 years ago, I was looking for an African name to match my awakening from my zombie state. At the point, I did not know about my roots of Africa at all. I just knew what I was taught was not sitting right with my kai, which is my spirit, and my bai, which is my soul. So I researched for a new name that would match the new person, as the old Labaris Kente Nelson was dying and soon would pass. I stumbled across the word Kofi and the word Paisai. Kofi means born on Friday, which my mom had me at 8 a.m. on Friday morning, and Paisai, which means firstborn, and I am the oldest out of 4 siblings. Now I would like to share the Akan culture and tradition with you all. I am not a practitioner of the Akan spiritual system, but they are similar to the African spiritual systems I practice out of southwestern Nigeria and North Africa. The Akan are one of the best known cultures groups in Africa. Currently 4 million strong, they are the largest culture grouping in Ghana, representing approximately half of the country population. The Akan, the Abusa, which means family, or the clan, includes a Kupian, a Kuyan, a Bukian, and excuse me because I might be turning the words up a little bit with the pronunciation, Bozamon, Kotuku, Ashanti, Brong Afo, Fanti, Kiwahu, and In Nazima. These are all the different branches or the clans that I just named that is in West Ghana. They are broke up into different clans. They are broke up into different subgroups. Although the political, social, religious, and customary practice of the Akans are similar, each clan shares a common culture, heritage, and a language, which aided to their historical traditions of groups' identities and political autonomy, contributions to the formation of the individual nation states during the pre-colonial period. These entries briefly describe their culture and then examine their ideals and spirituality in more detail. Linguistically, the collective terms Akan refers to a group of languages belonging to the Kiwa subfamily of the Niger or Cordofian language family spoken in both Ghana, south of the Volta River, and Kati de Ivaro. What distinguish one group from another are the linguistic varia dialects that includes a Kupian, Ashanti, and Fanta. The former two are referred to as Twi. Hold on. The Fanti. The former two are referred to as Twi. Akan is the first language of approximately 44% of the Ghana population, with Ashanti Twi being the most widely spoken of the variant. And share the video too also, family. Share the video on your page. Making use of a figurative speech, the Akans are properly best known for their proverbial wisdom. Proverbs are popular maxims used to express practical truth gained through experiences and observation. They are expressed not only in words, but also through music, particularly traditions, drummings, and dance, as well as through textile arts, specifically the adrinka and the kente cloth. Proverbs constitutes an important characteristics of the Akan languages and are used to imbue communication with life. Proverbs metaphorically guides for righteousness living, provided and better understanding of the Akan outlook on existence, both physical and spiritual. And they take very good pride in their proverbs. And we will see a lot of the proverbs in a lot of their clothing, because we're going to get into the kente cloth. I know a lot of us wear the kente cloth, but a lot of us don't know where the kente cloth originated. A lot of us don't know what the drinker symbols are, or what the drinker wear is worn for. But we're going to get into that a little bit later too. The following Akan proverbs are instructed in this regard. And again, I said that they take very good pride. They take good pride in their proverbs, and you will see why they take good pride in their proverbs as we get it. So these are some of the proverbs that I'm gonna go through, and we'll go through some more a little bit later on. True power comes through cooperation of silence. 2 men in a burning house must not stop to argue. One falsehood spars 1,000 truths. We done heard the Agungun, the Aku which is the ancestor, the Honorable Marcus Messiah Garvey, used this quote in some of his speeches: "One falsehood spoils 1,000 truths. The one who asks questions does not lose his way." I posted this yesterday. No points God's out to a child. A family is like a forest. When you are outside, it is dense. When you are inside, you see that each tree has its place. The knots tied by a wise man cannot be undone by a fool. If you hold a snake by its head, its body will turn to rope. Even the teeth and tongue fight sometime, although they live together. Death has no cure. Be a good person and remember that you will die someday. If someone takes care of you in childhood, take care of them during their old age. If you know how to advise yourself. And sometimes we have to do that. We always advising other people, but never advising ourselves. What distinguishes the Akan from many of the other cultural groupings in Ghana is that they area matrilineage people. They are matrilineage people. They believe in the matrilineal, on the matrilineal side and not the patrilineal side. Every Akan belongs to a clan or a busai. Busai means family, and it is bound to that abusable blood relation. They believe that during intercourse, the sunsum, which is the spirit from the fathers, mingling with the manya, the blood of the mother, giving rise to the conception. This joining of the spiritual and physical component gives rise to the mother child bond and lays the foundation for the matrilineal system of the descendants by the Akan. Although Christianity and Islam attempted to colonize their spirituality, the Akan have not departed from their ancestral and spiritual culture. And we know that during the Atlantic slave trade, we know during the early 1400s, we know Ghana was colonized by the British, and we know the British were they were Christians. They were Catholic Christians, and so forth. So those people that came in and colonized Africa, came in and invaded Africa and colonized, they converted a lot of our ancestors over to Christianity. Even when we go to Islam, we know during the 16th all the way up to the 14th to the 13th century, we know that the Berbers, and we know that the Arabs, with our enslaved Africans, enslaved African ancestors, that they enslaved, converted them over into Islam during the Sahara of the Barbary slave trade. So we know we've been introduced to these religions via invasions by other groups of people. So I just wanted to throw that out there, because although Christianity and Islam attempted to colonize their spirituality, the Akans have not departed from their ancestral and spiritual culture, which defines them as Akan. Spirituality is the foundation on which Akan society and culture is built. The Akan spirituality is referred to as the Akun, from the Twi word Akun, meaning hunger. Although most Akan people have identified as Christians since the early 20th century. Again, we know that due to the British. We know the British colonized West Africa. They colonized Ghana, where the Akan people are from Ghana. So we know that due to them coming in and invading that country and colonized them, they converted them over into their own ideology, their own doctrine. The Akan have many subgroups. Including the Ashanti, the Akupe, the Watsa, the Abron, the Aya, and the Balu, among others. I spoke about a bunch of them. I gave about 10 or 12 different subgroups or subclans out of the Akan people in Ghana a few minutes ago on other slide. Religious various greats by regions and subgroups. Similar to other traditions, religions of the West and Central Africa, such as West Africa, Voodoo, Yoruba religion, the Oduni, Akan cosmology consists of a supreme creator, God who generally does not interact with humans, and many lesser spirits who assist humans. And like I was saying earlier, I got my name from the Akan people, and I'm not a practitioner of the Akan spiritual system. But again, the Akan spiritual systems are similar to the African spiritual systems that I practice in Southwestern Africa with the Yoruba people, Ifa, and North Africa with the Remich of the with the Kimatu. I'm a practitioner of both North and Southwestern African spiritual systems, but they are similar because they all arouse around the all in all of the supreme being or the supreme energy force of nature, and it has a lesser components of it, or lesser spirits, lesser gods, whatever terminology you want to put on it. Whether you dealing with in the practice that I practice, dealing with North Africa, we deal with the Neteru, or in the Yoruba practice that I also practice when we dealing with the Orisha. But we also have in the Voodoo culture, you have the Luau's, which are the lesser, and they have a supreme deity as well. So most of the spiritual systems are similar, you know what I'm saying, similar to each other. Niyami or Oyami is the name of God, the supreme being in the Akan from the Ghana conceptual system. Niyami corresponds to the spiritual ideal of a deity. The supreme being is also referred to as the Ayan Kopan, as well as Odu Mankomo, Oyan Kopong in the Akan spiritual system represents the supreme being, whereas Odu Mankomo is a infinite being whose beginning and ending are unknown to humans. The three names Nzima, Onyan Kompon, and Odu Mankomo exist to identify the supreme creator, the originator of the universe, and the infinite, respectively. He created all things, and he is continually creating the restructures of his universe. From philosophies and etymology, other names of African origin, such as Nyambi or Nzambi from East Africa, seems to have sameness as Nzami, Inyami. Inyami is one god that links the Akan religion belief system to monotheism. This is relevant by the fact that Nyami is one word in the Akan language that has no plural root by linguistics 464. Nyami constructed. The plural would have been Inyami, which is non-admissible in the Akan language. To emphasize the oneness of Nyami, the word Oyami is more often used to represent the uniqueness of God as one and the only one. Nzami has a number of spiritual properties that are expressed in Nzami, Odu, Mankomi, and Inyankompon. Family, can y'all still hear me? It's not breaking up. I'm not breaking up, Emma. I'm just trying to make sure. I'm just gonna keep stopping and checking before I go any further, because I know, like in the last video, I kind of was a little choppy in the video, and I'm looking on one of my devices, and it looked like it's just keep loading. So, is the volume good? Am I coming clear out? Yes, no, maybe so. Just let me know. Just type it in the inbox. Yes, no, thumbs up till you sound good, clear. Not okay. I just wanted to make sure. The god of the Akan appears as a trinity, expressed as Nzami, Odu, Mankomo, and Inyankompon, with the following spiritual properties: all seeing, all knowing, all powerful, all satisfied, majestic, all brilliance, all many others that are unique in the Inyami. And we know that this epithet, okay, and we know that this epithet, no matter what spiritual system or religion that you follow, this supreme energy or this all in all or this powerful force has these attributes: all seeing, all knowing, all powerful, all satisfied, all majestic, all brilliance, and many other things are unique to Inyami. He is one in one, and yet many in spiritual visibles everywhere. He is one in one, and yet many and spiritual visibles everywhere. That's right, because the creator of the supreme mind of the supreme deity, it exists in every and all things at the same time, no matter what system you follow. The supreme deity exists in every and all things at the same time. He is everything, and hence he is all things in one things in all. His son is Onya Kopun, and his spirit is Odo Mankomo. He is invisible, almighty, and dependable, that is expressed in unity of the Trinity of Niyami, Eyankumpon, and Odu Makomo. He is boundless, infinite, and giver of exaltation, abundance. He is the giver of life and death to complete his exaltation created process through the universe evolution in accordance with his all-powerfulness. Otufumu. Inzama is both a forgiving and punishing God. Now, no matter what you call the supreme force in nature, and I just went over some of the attributes, no matter what you follow, these attributes are going to follow whatever spiritual system or religion it is. No matter what name you give it, we are all talking about this supreme force in nature, or this supreme energy, or this supreme mind, because everything is also mental. In the Akan tradition, Abusum, deities are deities, lesser gods, singular Abusum. So the Abusum is the same thing with what I said. I practice something in North Africa, and we deal with the lesser, which is the Necha Uz. And then and the southwestern Nigeria, what I deal with the Yoruba people in Ifa, we say the Orishas. So again, you can see the similarities in the comparing between the two of this. Comparing of even with the Voodoo and with the people in Benin, the Fon people, they say the Loas, which are the lesser energy, or the lesser divinities, similar in functions to the Yoruba Orishas and the Voodoo Luau, and the Abusum are spiritual forces inviting and operating throughout the Akan universe, assisting. And when we're talking about divinities, for those that's on here, we're only talking about whether we're dealing with the Necha Uz, whether we're dealing with the Orishas, the Loas, and the other different lesser divinities. We're only talking about forces in nature. We're only talking about forces in nature. We're talking about wind. We're talking about water. We're talking about air. We're talking about dirt. We're talking about matter. We're talking about all those different things that that we look at in nature, and that we feel in nature, and that we see in nature, and that we touch in nature. All right. The Abusus are spiritual forces invading and operating throughout the Akan universe, existing in Yami in the task of managing creation, namely humanity. They are found throughout Ghana and are a major part of the Akan cosmology. Obunsun may be male or female, or have the ability to embody both. Although the Obunsun often embodies various manifestations of nature, i.e. wind, bodies, water, trees, mountain, hills, animals. Again, that's what I'm saying. These lesser divinities are nothing but forces in nature. These objects are used only, and they are animated, inanimated, and animated energy. When I look at a tree, the tree has energy, just like I have energy, or what we call our soul. So everything on this plane of existence is alive. It may be, the tree may stand still. So it's inanimated energy. So we have animated energy, which we are animated beings. We have animated energy, which means we can move. So everything in nature is alive. Everything consists of this supreme energy. We are a manifestation, or we are a part of this supreme energy. These objects are used only as temporary dwelling places and should not be confused with the Abunsum themselves. The Abunsums are essentially spirits created by the Inyami to fulfill specific functions. The Abunsum derive their powers from Inyami and serve as a mediator between Inyami and the humankind. Because the Akan believe that Inyami is too great to be reached directly, the Abunsum, who represents certain aspects of the power of the Inyami, serve as an intermediary between the immediate objects and reference. Although their power is a function of the Inyami, they have the full power to act in the realm of their specific areas and specification. Each Abunsum performs different functions and has the ability to reward, punish, protect, and guide humankind in all aspects of life. Now, I talked about the Inyami, which is the creator or the divine energy. No matter what you call it, we're talking about this divine energy. And I talked about the Abunsum, which is the lesser divinity or the attributes of the supreme force. And now we're talking about the Insamofo. So those that are practitioners of African spirituality, we know that we also deal with the ancestors. In what I practice in North Africa, we call them the Aku. And also in the other practice that I practice in the Ifa, we call them the Ogungun. And the Akan called them the Insa Manfo, which is the ancestors. And again, and anytime I do anything, I always have to give honor and praise to the ancestors, because again, we wouldn't be here without our ancestors. We wouldn't exist without our ancestors. The Akan Proverbs, the eye which saw, and again, I keep telling you, the Akan take pride in their proverbs. Their proverbs exist in everything in their culture. The eye which saw the past is not living, but the ear which hear what was said in the past still lives. I'm going to read that again. The eye which saw the past is not living, but the ear which heard what was said in the past still lives. Explanation of the proverb. Even though there is no one in the present generation that saw the past, we will remember the traditions of our ancestors, and the traditions have remained as each generation passed on what he heard to the next. The ancestors form an important part of the tradition of the Akan religion, and that's any African spiritual system that we deal with. The ancestors is very vital in their spiritual system, very vital into their culture and in their traditions. They actually walk in human form on this earth. The ancestors are also known as the Insa Mufu, or the old people or ancient people. They have a prominent place in thinking and religious practice of our people. The Akan believe in life after death. Therefore, when a person's body dies, their spirit lives, or their energy. Because we know when we study the laws of the laws of energy, we know that energy cannot be created nor destroyed. It can only be transferred from one state to the next. Again, energy cannot be created nor destroyed. It can only be transferred from one state to the next. So the person's body dies, their spirit lives on. And again, the spirit, and excuse the typo, because I thought I went through here and proofread my whole slides before I went live, but I got this in here, got got away from me. Well, we know the spirit is nothing but energy. And again, we talked about the spirit. The spirit also means breath. So you can look up the word. You can go to etymology.com and you can look up the word spirit and you can see what the words, what the spirit actually means. It lives on the earth, but in their own land called the Asamando. The ancestors are feared. At the same time, they are loved and respected. They are believed to be everywhere. They continue to live another kind of an existence after their death. And also, ETM Hotep sent it, Monica, peace, Steve, peace, Ben, Note, peace, Jonathan, Joe, Lee, if I ain't spoke to you, brother, peace to you, ETM Hotep, Sean, peace, Kendrick Young. Okay. So again, we know that ancestors or ancestor renovation is very vital in all African spiritual systems. In all African spiritual systems. With all their importance, the Insa Manfu, which is the ancestors, are not worshipped. They are venerated. Veneration being a higher form of respect and honors. They remain the relatives of the living and are referred to by the same name or title they was used when they were alive. They are not approached as gods or the Abonsun. In my house packing. You Hotep sending what you saying, Sin Sean? I'm in the house packing you up. You packing me up. You packing me up. Oh, you in the house backing me. Okay, you bagging me up. Yeah, bag me up. Bag me up. Drop the knowledge. Drop the science on them. They are not approached as gods or a bunsun, which we know the bunsun or the lesser energies or the lesser deities. They are given a. I keep hitting the button. I'm sorry, y'all. Dang, I hope I didn't. Hold on. Okay. I think this is the slide I was on there now. Okay. They are not approaching as gods or the Abunsun. They are giving a status level giving to any human. The insane manful, the ancestors are honored and appeased because they have acquired some of the power of the Abunsun and forever watching and protecting us. They are deemed to have, and like I say, this is in any African spiritual system and even in any religious system. You know, I may not agree with all the religions, but this is, you know, we talk about our angels, our angels that's watching over them. We're talking about our ancestors that are past and went on what we call went into the Ogungun or went into the Dua. So this, you know, these are the same similar things, which a lot of, when I talk about the religions, the different religions are nothing but many manifestations or many fragments, small fragments from African spiritual systems. They are deemed to have gathered wisdom through highly esteemed life. They led while on earth, and although absent from this life, they are believed to be concerned about what is happening here on earth within their families. And of course they is, because we are our ancestors. And I hope that's not going over anybody's head. We are our ancestors. We wouldn't be here without our ancestors. I am my great-great-grandfather. I am my grandfather. I am my great-great-grandfather. When we understand blood, the blood lineage, and we understand DNA, and we understand that we reproduce ourselves, and we understand that 33.3% I am of myself, 33.3% I am of my father, and 33.3% I am my mother, which is 99.9. I am my father. That's why when we deal with the Kemetu and the Remich culture that I practice, the Ankh is a symbol of life or eternal life. Life is eternal. Even when my father, if my father leaves before me, my father is still here. I am my father. I am my mother. We are our ancestors. A cosmology is an account of how the universe cosmos came into being. It's different from the cosmology or the structures of the universe, in that the later aims at understanding the actual composition and governing laws of the universe as it is now existence, whereas the former answer the question as to how it first came to be. Abruwa Nani Miba, the old woman and her children, is the name of the Akan creation narrative. The Akan believes that the beginning, the Inyama creator, lives in the sky, which was actually very close to the earth where the old woman and her children live. Each day when the old woman would pound her fufu, we'll get into what the fufu is, the pestilence hit Iyami. And I'm dealing with their cosmology, one of their cosmology stories. Although Inyami continues warning the woman to stop hitting him or else he would move far away into the sky, the woman continued to pound her fufu. So Inyami, in fact, moved far away into the sky where the people could no longer reach him. Fufu, before I go any further. So fufu, this is what fufu is. This is here on the side, and it's always served with a dish with some type of soup that you can dip the fufu in. So let's find out what the fufu was. Let's find out what this woman was pounding, making this fufu and was hitting Inyami, the supreme force with. Fufu, a variation of the name including fufu. Fufu. Fufu is a staple food common in many countries in Africa. It is often made with cassava, and green plantain flour. One other flours such as semolina, maza flour, or mashed plantains may take the place of the cassava flour. Fufu is often served with ground nut soup, palm nuts soup, or light soup. It's always served with some form of soup that you can dip your fufu into. The traditional method is to boil starch food, crops like cassava, yams, and plantains, and cocoa yams, and then pound them into the dough like consistently. Fufu is eating with the fingers, and a small bowl of it can be dipped into the accompanying soup or sauce. Food made in this manner are known by different names in different places. It's a popular dish in the African culture. The oldest woman, now let's get back. So I just wanted to break down what the fufu was, because dealing with the cosmology, we know that the woman was pounding and making the fufu, and she was hitting Ninyami in the head, which is the supreme energy or the all in all. And he warned her to stop hitting the head, but she continued to hit Inyami as she pound with the pestilence of the dough, making the fufu. So the Inyami moved farther away from the earth, away from humanity. The old woman determined to find a way to reach Inyami and bring him back, instructed her children to ply all of the mortar they could find on top of one another until the towers of mortar reached where Inyami was. Wow. Listen to this. And this is what I mean by our ancestors that looked in nature and created a system around nature and created these systems, or African spiritual systems. And when these foreigners came into our ancestors' land, they took certain fragments from our spiritual systems and created their own types of religions. So by them creating their own types of religions, they took a lot of the folklores, they took a lot of the allegory stories and applied them into their own religious texts. So again, we know The old woman, determined to find a way to reach Naomi to bring him back, instructed her children to ply an old all of the martyr. They could find one another until the towers of the martyrs reached where Naomi was. The children complied. However, they were one martyr short of reaching Naomi. So we see this story in the other different religions. When we go into the Bible or we go into the Quran and we look at their text, this is where they're pulling a lot of their information from. We know when we look in the Old Testament, we know that they was building a tower, the Tower of Babel. They was trying to reach the heavens, you know, and God, they fell down and God confused the language. Hotep, San Anpu Ma'at Ra, peace of King Dre. So again, we see where they was pulling again, these different religions that we have today are nothing but fragmentations from our ancestors' spiritual systems. Because, because they could not find any more mortar, the old woman told them to take one out from the bottom and put it on the top. When her children did so, the tower of the martyrs fell to the ground, causing a mass destruction and killing many people. The stories of the Abruwa, Nahni Miba, not only portray the Akan conception of the creation of the universe, but also teaches a moral and ethic lesson. At one time, Inyami lived close to the people, and it was easy for them to reach Inyami with their concerns and requests. Bothered by the old woman's actions, he asked her to obey his request to stop hitting him with the pestle. But because she ignored his request, she subsequently disobeyed him. Inyami moved farther away from the people. Stubborn, the old woman was determined to reach Inyami anyway, but her disobedience has already sealed humanity's fate, causing people more pain and distance from Inyami. The lesson is that the people must obey the wishes of Inyami or suffer the same consequence of the Abruwa, Ni Na Miba. The Akan identified a constellation called Abruwa Nahni Miba, which is composed of an arrangement of 7 stars, each corresponding with the 7 matrilineal divisions of the Akan people. So we know that just dealing with one of the piece Awuwera Taka Ma'at Kilimanjaro, we know that dealing with the cosmology story, that one of the woman was trying to make the fufu, and the creator Inyami was closer to the earth at one point of time, and by her pounding and beating and trying to prepare the fufu, she kept hitting Inyami, and Inyami told her to stop hitting her. She disobeyed him, and he moved farther away from the earth. He moved farther away from humanity. And then we see where she and her children tried to build a tower, tried to build a tower to reach the divine force or this divine energy. And as they tried to reach the heavens, she took a piece of mortar from the bottom and tried to put it at top so she could reach, and everything fell and a disaster struck and many people was killed. And again, we can see where a lot of the other different religions are pulling some of their things, that pulling some of the allegories and some of the fables from our ancestors. But we have, but dealing with a lot of us that deal with the religion, we have started taking the mythology, which there are truth in the mythology, and we're taking the allegories and the folklores and we're making it to be literal instead of taking it to be figurative. The Akan believe that each individual consists of a certain material and a spiritual element. The Honame is the body, and the Magya is the blood connection to the matrilineal, representing the material and physical components, where the Kra is the life force or the soul. The Han Homi, the breath of the divine life. And in the spiritual system that I'll practice, it will be the Ka and the Ba. And the Sun Song, the spirit, connection to the patrilineage representing the spiritual or the non-physical components. Iyami, the creator, bestowed these materials and spiritual elements on us as a conception and birth. However, when we die, the Honain and the Moya join, and excuse me for I might mess the word up, Aseshe, Ye, Mother Earth, where the Kra, the Home, and the Samshon return to Inyami. And again, you can see that, again, they pull a lot of our allegories and mythology and folklores into their own religion. Don't this sound familiar to our bodies returning back to the earth and our spirit returning back to whence it came? Good health is contingent on the balance of harmony between both the material and the spiritual elements. If one is injured, the other is affected. When a person falls ill, Akan concern themselves not only with the physical manifestation of the illness, but the spiritual aspect as well. According to the Akan, individuals are made up of the Kra, soul, the Hanhom, breath of the divine life, the Sunshun, spirit, the Magya, blood, the Kra, the life force, or in another system that I practice, we call it the Ashe, or the soul emanated from Inyami. The Kra is said to be the small bit of Inyami that lives in every person, a Hone, which we know, as I explained earlier, that the divine force, we are manifestations or different manifestations from that divine force in nature. And again, it is explaining it here, the Kra, which is the small bit of Naomi that lives in every person. We're talking about that energy. When we talk about the spirit of the soul, we're only talking about that energy. So that God lives within us. You know, if we're going to use that terminology, God lives within us. That spirit lives within us. And this is what the ancestors was talking about in the Akan tradition as well. Given at birth, it is the spiritual component of our consciousness and the influence of all our actions. On an individual basis, the Samsung is the basic of one's character and personality, and originated from the Father. It is a functionary of the Kra, in that when Niyami gives us our Kra at birth, it is the Samshon that escorts the Kra on the physical death. When the Kra returns to Inyami, it is again escorted by the Samshon. Therefore, the Kra and the Samshon, which is the spirit of the soul and the spirit and the soul, are purposely counterparts of one another. We can look at this and see the same thing going on in the appreciated Sin Sean. We can see the same things going on in the Kimatu or the Remich culture as well. When we study the 9 parts of the man, when we're dealing with the Ka, the Ba, the Rin, and it's the rest of them escaping my mind, but you know, you can see the same things when you're dealing with the 9 parts of the 9 parts of the man. Giving the Akan constellational of Inyami, the Asbon, which we know the Asbon are the lesser deities or the lesser energy, and again we can relate that to the Orishas, by the Yoruba people of the Neterus in North Africa, or the Luau dealing with the Voodoo for those that practice that practice those systems. The Insa Mamufo, which is the ancestors, and the close relationships among them. Libations functions as a specialized method of communication with Iyami through the intermediary. if the living wants to send a message to Nyami, they do so through libations, because Akans have the power and ability to reach the inside manfo. And again, dealing with African spiritual systems, we know it's going to always deal with ancestors veneration. It's going to always deal with lesser deities, a higher deity. It's always going to deal with pouring libations. It's always going to deal with altars. It's always going to deal with drumming. It's always going to deal with different types of ceremonies. It's always going to deal with certain rites of passage. Inyami, if the living wants to send a message to Inyami, they do so through libations, because the Akan have the power and ability to reach the inside manfo, which is the ancestors, directly. But if they wishes to receive a message from Inyami, Akan consults a traditional priest, and excuse me, I might be messing the word up, Okonfo, because priests have the power and ability to reach the Asabon, which are the lesser deities or the lesser forces, who carry messages from Iyami. The Okonfo then conducted rituals, one in which we know we deal with the same thing in Kemet with the Himnetchas, or in the Orisha culture when we deal with the Babaluas. One which includes libation outside of the ritual performs on behalf of the others. Libations is used by the Okonfo, plural of Okonfo, to invoke the spirits of the Asabon that they follow. Generally speaking, libations represents the means by which the Akan connects to the ancestors or the Insamofo. When they want to honor and pay respect to their ancestors, they do so through libations. When they want to ask for peace, blessings, and forgiveness, or to give thanks to the Iyami, which is the divine force in nature, they do so through the inside morpho, which is the ancestors, and they do so through libations. Libations, therefore, is an important thread in the Akan matrix of the culture values. You can see here they are pouring libations out here. Peace, Elania. Elena, I'm sorry, I know I'll be pronouncing your name wrong. Peace, Queen. Libation does not involve reciting a memorized prayer. It relies on the arts of improvisation inspired by occasion. Although libations offer a performer performing a wide range of creativity, there is a general technique for the pouring of the libation. To pour libations, one requires liquid in some form. Palm wine was traditionally used in the past. More currently, schnapps, a brand of liquor or water, are used most often. Traditionally, and we know with the pine wine, we know a batala. We know a batala got drunk off the palm wine, and started forming and shaping men deformed. Traditionally, two people are involved in a ceremony. The one who actually pours the libation and the one who assists after the officiator taps the top of the bottle. The assistants open it and pours the liquid into the container held by the officiator. All right, the term adrika is more accurately used to denote symbolic funeral messages giving and transitions and or departed souls. So listen to this again, because I one of the slides I just briefly touched that we was going to speak about the adrinka, the symbols, the adrinka word, and the kente cloth, where the kente cloth comes from also, and actually where my name actually originated through the Akan people, but we're going to get into that. The terms of the adrinka is more accurately used to denote symbolic funeral messages given to the transitioning and the departed soul. So remember that. The terms die means to make use of or to employ. The term negra means message. Literally then, the adrinka means to make use of a message, to, again, listen and pay attention to that. Literally means make use of a message. But when spoken together, the terms are understood to mean to leave one another or to say goodbye. And again, here it says, going back to the top, it is more accurately used to denote a symbolic funeral message, giving in transition and the departed souls. Moreover, because of the terms inkra has kra, which we know is the soul, the life force, the soul, or the ashe, or the ba. At its roots, adrika is further understood as a message that a transitioning and a departed soul takes with its return to Iyame. Again, adrika is further understood as a message that is transitioning and its departing soul takes with its return to Iyame, the supreme force. The Adrinka symbols are also represents proverbs, which I spoke earlier, that they take pride in their proverbs. Everything that you see in the Akan culture, they have proverbs for it. So they so they take pride in their proverbs, and they take pride in their popular sayings, their amorphism, their parables, and their historical events. The Adrinka symbols, Adrinka clothing and kente cloth was founded by the Akan people in Ghana. Now I'm going to show you all a video of the Adrinka clothing and how it's made before I talk about a few of the Adrinka symbol meanings. Later on in the presentation, I will show another video of the kente cloth and what all the kente cloth colors mean. Give me a second, y'all. I'm trying this thing. I don't know why it does this when it comes to the video. It stops for a second. Okay. And it's just a little small video. It's a short video. It's like, oh shoot. It's like a minute long. It's like a minute long. I'm just gonna go into the drinky clothing. You know, it was worn for funerals at one time, as I talked about. And we're gonna go into some of the symbols. I'm not gonna go into all the symbols, but I'm gonna go into some of the symbols after we look at the video. So pay attention to the video.
Adinkra are visual symbols. Adinkra are most often used on fabrics and pottery, but they have also been incorporated into the walls of buildings and on jewelry. Adinkra was created by the Ashanti people, who lived in what is now southern Guyana. These cloths were traditionally worn by royalty and spiritual leaders for funerals and other very special occasions. They are now worn by anyone, stylishly wrapped around women or men on special occasions. In the past, they were hand-printed on undyed red, dark brown, or black cotton, depending on the occasion and the wearer's role. The ink for the Adinkra stamping is made from the bark of the body tree. First, the bark is shaved off with a machete. The ink producer soaks the bark in water for 1 day and then pounds it in order to soften it. The softened bark is then boiled for 2 more days, producing a thick black ink called Adinkra Aduru, or Adinkra medicine. The symbols are carved onto the bottom piece of a gourd. The ink is then applied with the stamp in a rocking motion on the fabric. These are just a few of the Adinkra symbols and their meanings.
That was just a small, it's just short video about the Adrinka and how they make the Adrinka wear. Okay, Adrinka symbols. Share the video too, family. Share the video. The Adrinka symbols. So these are some of the symbols. And there's more than that. I'm not going to go into all the symbols, but we'll go into some of the symbols. Okay. The Ashe She Yi Duru. And I may be pronouncing it wrong, so excuse me if I am. Ase, she, ye, duro, si, po. The earth is heavier than the sea. Symbols of providence and the divinity of the Mother Earth. This here symbol here, the Ji Niyami, the Obude Sante Yi Firi Titi Obi Niti Ashe E Onume Na Yashe Ni Obi Intina Ashe In Kose In A We Jiwe In Yame. This great paranormal of creation dates back to the time immersively. No one lives who saw it beginning, and no one will live to see its ending, except Iyami, symbol of omnipotent, omniscience, omnipresence, and the immortality. This is the symbol of Iyame, the supreme force. He iwu ni he. Burn you, do not burn, because God does not burn. I will not burn. Symbol of permanency. Is another one. In Soromo, Oba, in Yankan Soroma T, in Yami So Na Niti in Hoso, a child of Iyami. I do not depend on myself. My illumination is only a reflection of his. Symbols of faith and dependency of supremacy of the supreme being. So it is a symbol of faith and dependency of the supreme being. You can go back and look at the video later, and you can pause it and go back and look at the symbols. And here is the Iyami Biri Bi Wo Soro. Iyami Biri Bi Wo Soro Nama Mi Insa Inka. God, there is something in the heavens. Pray, let it reach me. Symbol of hope and inspiration. And again, they are prideful on their parables, their popular speech, and their proverbs. So their proverbs, their popular speech is rooted in everything. Iyami Dua, tree of Iyami, a symbol of presence of Iyami and Iyami's protection. Iyami Nuwu na Mawu. Iyami Niti Minwi Wura. Since God exists, I will not feed on leaves like an animal or beast. Symbol of faith and trust in Iyami. The Sumsum. I live not when Iyami is not. A symbol of perpetual existence of the human spirit. So this is the symbol of we know the word in Akan for Sumsum. We know the word for spirit in Akan is Sumsum, the spirit. The symbol perpetuation existence of the human spirit. Iyami Niti, the spirit. Symbol of spirituality, spiritual purity, and the cleanliness of the spirit. So these are some of them. I may present something useful that deals with the African tradition if I finish up in the next few hours. But I'm enjoying the information. No problem seeing. And these are just some of the I'm not going into all of the Adrika symbols. I just wanted to go into some of the symbols. Now I'm going to another video. This is the Kente cloth video showing you how the Kente cloth. You know, the Kente cloth originated in Ghana. And you know, Ghana is broke up into subgroups, and the Ashantis, we can thank for that. The Kente cloth. And we talked about the Adrika symbols. I showed you a video on the Adrika wear, and we know that they wore the Adrika wear for funerals. We know the symbols was messages for our ancestors that was departing or transitioning into the afterlife. Hold on. And I'm gonna just be pausing the video a little bit and reading some things off of the video. Okay, hold on. All right, kente is a hand-woven cloth that originates in Ghana, West Africa, and was primarily worn by royalty in the Akan ethnic groups. Kente comes from the Akan word kenting, which means basket, and it's also known as a inwintomo, which means woven cloth. So again, kente comes from the Akan word kente, which means basket, and is also known as tomo, which means woven cloth. All right, the Akan people of Ghana have been weaving kente for centuries. The tradition is thought to be inspired by a weaving pattern of a spider web. The spider, known as Kiwaku Inasi, is an important character in the Ghanese mythology. Oh my goodness. Oh man. Hold on, y'all. Golly. Oh man. Let me go back to the video. Give me a second. Let the video load back up. I'm sorry. Me fooling with this mouse. I'm gonna have to keep my hand off the mouse. Give me a sec. All right. Sorry about that, family. Now I'm trying to get the video to load back now. Come on now. And it's a short video too, but I just wanted to pause it on certain things. Okay. And I'm not gonna read back over some of the things that we already saw. I hit the thing, send that my I hit the thing, but we back, the video back. I'm not gonna read these parts that I already read. Come on, man. Internet moving a little bit slow. I got about 6 devices hooked up to my router. Okay. Oh, I'm done it again. I'm just gonna let the video play, y'all. Y'all just gonna have to go back and pause it because I'm having a problem when I hit the mouse, and when I hit the mouse, it's actually taking it to another slide. So I'm just gonna let it play because I wanted to stop and read as the video play, but I'm just gonna let the video play, and you can just go back and you can look at, pause it, and read it out for yourself. Just dealing with the kente cloth, I kind of wanted to read it out. Now I'm trying to get the slide to go back to where it's at. Oh, come on, slide. Hold on, I'm gonna do it like this. Give me just a second. Give me just a second, fam. Damn, slides trying to mess up. I'll go back. I'm just gonna let this video here play. And like I said, when you can go back and review the video, and you can see exactly what they're saying inside the video, and then we'll go into the other part of the presentation, and I'll be finished. Okay. And you can y'all can kind of pay attention if you want to now, and see exactly what it's talking about with the kente cloth. And if it slow down a little bit, I'll kind of read some of I read those already off before I messed up the slide a while ago. But I'll kind of read some off that may stay still for a minute because they're going to pop up and then move off. But I don't want to try to pause it and we lose the video again because I want to try to go ahead and move through the presentation, get through with the PowerPoint. Silk fabric was originally used to make the interwoven section of the cloth. Kente is now made from cotton, rayon, silk, and it is worn by many people, usually for special events like weddings, naming ceremonies, and funerals. The colors or patterns of the kente cloths have significant meanings and are chosen in the 50 events. And this video going to show some of the colors of what the colors mean in the kente cloth. There are more than 300 patterns in kente, each with its own name and meaning. The meanings are based on the religious belief, political ideology, customs, proverbs, historical events, and important kings, chiefs, and kings' mothers. And I'm not gonna read the examples at the bottom. You can, like I said, go back and review the PowerPoint, and you can pause it and read the examples at the bottom. The traditional men wore the kentes by wrapping it around the bodies and over the shoulder, similar to the togo. Women wrap the cloth around their bodies under their arms and a shawl as a shirt. The meanings of the kente cloth, the colors. So they're gonna go into the colors. There's over 300 colors in the kente cloth. They're going to give you some of yellow, richness, royalty, prosperity, monetary, wealth, worthwhile, glorious, precision, fertility. Purple, feminine, calm, sweet, worn by girls and women. So purple can be worn by men as well as women. Silver, serenity, peace, and joy associated with the moon, which represents feminine. We know that the moon cycle is connected to the female. The moon has a period just like the woman does. Blue, peacefulness, togetherness. Well, that slide went too fast. Black, strength, aging, maturity, intense spiritual energy, bereavement, mourning. And again, you can go back and pause the video and look at it. I don't want to fool with the video because it might go off again. Maroon, brown, mother, earth, healing, for protection from evil. And it's not going to give all the colors. Pink, mildness, tenderness, feminine qualities. Red, death, bloodshed, funeral, mourning, sacrifice, rights, political and spiritual association. Green, earth, land, crops, vegetation, planting, harvesting, life growth, good, health, spiritual renewal. The color gray symbolizes ashes, which is used in healing, protection, and spiritual cleansing rituals. Gold, high status, royalty, prosperity, monetary, wealth, richness, spiritual purity, fertility. I ain't even really have to read that. We already know the color gold mean. White, peace, pureness, innocent, healing, use of the festival, spiritual purification, cleansing, healing, sanctification rites. All right, I'm going to the next slide. All right. Now, Jamaicans planters use the term Coro Monte, was referred to the slave purchase from the Akan regions of West Africa, presently known as Ghana. Now that I walked y'all through the culture and the traditions of the Akan people, you know, and I want to do this presentation because I got my name from the Akan people out of West Africa. The slide is gone, Sinet. That was the end of the slide. That was the end of the slide. Okay, yeah, but that okay. And so I wanted to walk you through the culture and the tradition of the Akan people, let you know exactly where the Akan people were from in West Africa. What was some of their cultures and their traditions? What was their cosmology story? Give you some of their proverbs. Give you some the understanding of the drinker ware. What is some of the drinker symbols? Give you the meaning of some of the drinker symbols. Give you where did the kente cloth originated, which was by the Akan people in West Africa, in Ghana. And now that I gave you all that, now I'm walking you through where I get my name from. So I'm just trying to walk you through it all and show you how that they, you know, the name, that how the name came about now. Jamaican planters used the term Coro Monte, was referred to slave purchase from the Akan regions of West Africa, representing known as Ghana. And we do know that the British colonized, invaded West Africa, went into Ghana, went into other regions of West Africa, but they went into Ghana, and they enslaved and converted a lot of the people from Ghana the Akan people, and they spread it off into they took them across the Atlantic Ocean. They took them on this. They took them on the islands. The Jamaicans. The Jamaicans are descendants from the descendants of the Ghanese. The Jamaicans are Ghanese. Their ancestors are Ghanese. Their ancestors were kidnapped and brought to that island that we call Jamaica today. So again, the Jamaican planters used the term the Coromantee was referred to slave purchase from the Akan region from West Africa, presently known as Ghana. In earlier years of the British settlement, the Coromantees were the most stubborn and yet the most respected. Meaning of them were experienced with military methods because of the fightings and the wars that encountered the Africans. They are very proud and disciplined group. The British felt that the characteristics would make, and we're going to see who the Coromantees, which we know the planters called these certain groups of African people that came from the Akan, the Coromantees, which were kidnapped from West Africa and brought into the island. And these guys had a skill. These people had a skill set. You know, they had military. They had military tactics and a certain type of pride about themselves. Certain types of skill sets about themselves. The British characteristic will make them good slaves. The Coromantees' pride and discipline might make them want to be certain sections of the plantation. We're going to see who the Coromantees ended up being later on also, to make sure that the others were working properly. But the Coromantees, who came from the natural environment very similar to that of Jamaica, were also able to rebel against slavery and run to the mountains of St. Anne, Clarendon, and Elizabeth, the original home of the Jamaican Maroons. So we know that the Coromantees are also the Maroons. And I didn't go too far into the Maroons. We know that the Maroons you know, when we talk about slave revolts, you know, we don't really hear too much about slave revolts. We always hear about Nat Turner, but we never hear about the Maroons. We never hear about the Haitian Revolution, you know what I'm saying, with them getting the slave revolts and they're freeing themselves from the French, you know, and other different slave revolts that resided here in North America. We don't hear about that. So go back and study the Maroons. The Maroons were people from Jamaica who are descendants from Ghana. But I'm not gonna go too much into that. I may come back and do a PowerPoint on the Maroons at a later time. Maybe not. I don't know. The best of their ability. Slave owners often put them in charge of a certain section of plantations to make sure the others were working properly. But the Coromantees, who came from a natural environment very similar to that of Jamaica, were also able to rebel against the slavery and run to the mountains of St. Anne. And the Maroons, I'm gonna just say this about the Maroons. Maroons was very feared by the slave owners. They was very feared. They caused all type of havoc, and they run into these different mountains, and these people wouldn't come and fool with these individuals. And I just may do something on it because it's a powerful story about the Maroons. While the planters feared to pursue a runaway into the hills, the Coromantees used the mountains as their own disciplined way of life as an advantage. And in the mountains, they developed their own way of life by incorporating the various cultures with those of the other runaway slaves who made up the diverse Maroons. And we know that as the Maroons, with this mighty slave revolt, they went into these mountains, and they knew a lot of the other slaves on other different plantations started escaping to the mountains. They know if they made it to St. Anne, made it into these mountains, then they would have to be worried about nothing, because the slave owners was not finna come into the mountains where the Maroons were. And again, a lot of the people that escaped on those islands, you know, there's over, and I'm just guesstimating, you know, maybe 4,500 different languages and dialect in Africa. So we know that during the Atlantic slave trade and other enslavements, that we all didn't speak the same language. We all spoke varieties of languages. In fact, among the Maroons and among the people brought to Jamaica as slaves in the general, the Akan culture influenced predominantly. One of the characteristics most useful in pinpointing a group origin is their language. There is a very importance when speaking of the Maroons, because many of the slaves did not speak the same language as I just spoke. As other slaves, they joined them throughout the years. Many of the slaves brought over came from different parts of Africa, and therefore were unable to communicate by verbal means with other slaves. Instead, they often used body language to communicate, in particular hand gestures and variation physical actions. As time passed on, verbal communication improved among the slaves because they learned to communicate using their own language. They invented using variations of their previous language and that the people whom owned them. According to authors of the time, Byron Edwards, the Maroons, are generally ignorant of the language. He said that their language was a mix between African dialect, Spanish, and broken English. While the Maroons' language was not uniformly or product of an Akan origin, we can find extensive Akan influence on the Maroons and the Jamaicans in Africa, originally generally by looking at the names patterns. And again, we know that the Jamaicans and the Maroons are descendants from Ghana. They are Ghanese. They are from West Africa. And we know that the British brought them on the island that we call Jamaica today. And when we talk about the Coromantes, who we know they had a type of skill set, military skill set, were fighting wars in Africa already. So again, look the Maroons up in the Maroon Slave Revolt. But all excuse me, y'all. But anyway, we can find extensive Akan influence on the Maroons and the Jamaicans, again, because they're the same people. Jamaicans and African origins generally by looking at naming patterns. These patterns can reveal the extent to which concepts of family lineage and the kingship were retained beyond the Atlantic crossing. Doing this, they have found that many of the names used by the Maroons and even the descendants of slaves today come from Africa, and often from a particular region of Africa. One of the most recognizable African names in both North America and the Caribbean is West African customs of the day names. The names that each day was assigned a particular name. A baby was named according to which day of the week he or she was born. Akan days named predominantly among the Maroons and other African people of Jamaica. For example, a baby born on Sunday was named Kewisi in Ghana, or Kashishi in Jamaica, which we know there are the different variations, because we knew that they had the Jamaicans or the Maroons that went that had the slave revolts that went into the mountains. They created their own language because there were other different slaves that did not speak the Akan language that they spoke. But the popular language of the Akan people was the Twi, but they had other different languages. So they created a variant from the Akan language with another language, and this is where you see the variations here. I'm going to show you some of the variations in a minute. And here are some of the variations. The Akan. Sunday is Kewisi. Male is, and the Jamaican Maroons is Kashishi. Female, Kashiba. Monday, Kawadawo or Kojo. Jamaican Maroons, Kujo. Female, Juba. Tuesday, Kiwabini. Male, Benin. For Jamaican Maroons, Kobini. Wednesday, Kiwi. Male, Kaku or Kuba. Friday is Kofi, where I get my name from, which means born on Friday. You can see the variation of the Jamaican Maroons, Kufi, or Fiba for the females. Saturday, Kiwa, Kiwumi, or Miba. And these are the different variations. I didn't have time. Garfield is in the con. Yeah. I didn't have time to pull up. I wanted to pull up. Let's see if I can do it. If I can do it, I'll pull it up. Let me see if I can do it. Let me know if y'all can see it. It may let me show it because I wanted to kind of show you some of the names. But this is where I got my name from the Akan people. So I just wanted to go into the Akan culture traditions. So here, we can see it here. So, okay, born days. And here is the names in the Akan traditions for Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. The names at the bottom. So you have the male name, Kiwase. This is the Twi language for the Akan. The females are Okuse. The variations is Kisi, Sisi, Iwase, Kose, Ikose, Ikosiwa, Ase, Ise, Kiwasibe. All right. So here are the names: Kiwade for Monday, Odua for Tiwa. I'm not gonna go in all the variations. Here are some of the root words. So I just wanted to show you right here in the language, the names, and then the males and the females right here. And again, Kofi just means Friday, born on Friday. So I was born on Friday. As I said in one of my slides, I was born 8 a.m. on a Friday morning, July the 29th, 1977. Here, if you have the twins, here are some of the twins' names. If you have twins that are born on these days, these are some of the names right here. And then Paisai. These are like what you can say your last names. So I am the firstborn out of four siblings. So Paisai is the firstborn. So my name is Kofi Paisai. So this is what they did was they took the names of the day and they created for each day, they created a name and a meaning for the day, whether it's female or male. Like mine is Kofi Paisai. So and the female will be, her last name will be Paisai as well. But if she was born on Friday, her name will be Ofufe Paisai, which would be born on Friday, firstborn. That's for the female. If you was born on, let's just say you was born on a Wednesday, you a male. Your name will be Kuwa Ku, and let's just say you the second born. You would be Manu. Manu. Yeah. So I just wanted to go through that, just show you a better because my grid wasn't all that good, but you can go to Akan. This is on Wikipedia. Just Akan names, and then it'll show you the name, the dates, what the names are in the original language, the male, the female side, the variations, especially when we're dealing with the Maroons or the Coromantee, and these are the root words, the associations, and the Fantes, the other different correlations over here, Kufi, Kofi, Kufi, and et cetera, et cetera. So I just wanted to show you that. But that concludes my presentation. I hope that, the presentation was very informative. Go back again and look at the presentation again. I put the presentation together a while back here. I just finished it up since I was almost through with it. And people were just always asking me where you get the name Kofi Paisai from, why you call yourself Kofi Paisai. So I just wanted to put something together. It's an Akan name. So I wanted to give you a backdrop of the people of the Akan. So I wanted to walk you through their culture and their traditions. So I walked y'all through their culture. in their traditions. So you know a little bit more about the Akan people. You know about their cosmology. You know about, the no problem. Appreciate you for watching. Shimon Hotep, Senate Monica Lamb. So, I just wanted to walk you through it and then just show you a couple of videos, show you where the Kentai cloth came from, the Adrika symbol cloth came from, what the Adrika symbols mean, why did they wear them, and they was for messages. Walk you through the same thing, which we know if you're a practitioner of African spiritual system, we always going to have ancestor veneration. We're going to have pouring libation. So I wanted to show you that it's similar to the practices that some of us practice in other different African spiritual systems, showing the similarity between the people in Benin that practice voodoo with the lower energies, which is called the luau, and what I practice in Yoruba with the Ifa is the Orisha, and with the Kimatu in North Africa, the Netra'u. So just showing you some similarities and just walking you through the culture. And again, I just want to say Modupe, which means thanks, Alifie Ibe, which means peace, family. And before I get off here, I have to say Igungun Majube Iba. Igungun Kiki Igungun, which is I pay homage to the ancestors and I praise the ancestors, because again, I would be nothing without the ancestors. We wouldn't be here without the ancestors. We wouldn't exist without the ancestors. So Alifie. Now I'm trying to get off it and can't get off it for some reason. Shimon Hotep, I am my brother keeping. I'm going to look at that, man, in a minute, man. I was just trying to finish this, and I was up under the weather to look at it last night.